And welcome to CBN4's Primetime News Package. I'm your presenter, Alian Christopher. Let's take a look at the headlines for today. The Dominica Police Force to recruit 100 new faces. 4 hurricane names retired after causing massive destruction in the 2017 hurricane season. And in sports, Dominica has its eyes set on another medal at the Commonwealth Games. Stay tuned for these and other stories when CBN4's Primetime News and Sport returns.
L'année signe tout partout. Attention si vous êtes homme et bien femme. Visitez place santé pour examiner corps. Ça c'est un nid pour yo ouais si l'année pièce moun au lion qui ni maladie TB et bien maladie sexuelle. En compagnie moun qui ni maladie HIV pe ni TB aussi. Savent qui l'année guérison pour TB. Ou ça vivre en bonne santé même si ou ni maladie HIV. Parlez by docteur. Prends responsabilité. Aidez du bout de sime maladie TB et HIV. Ou agir tout le monde pour examiner corps yo.
If you're HIV positive or have an STI, having unprotected sex with multiple partners puts them in grave danger. You'll expose every partner and their present and future partners to HIV or another STI. Use a condom every time you have sex. You can live a productive life even if diagnosed with HIV. Remember, early detection is key to your survival. Be responsible, protect yourself and others. Help stop the spread of HIV and other STIs.
Welcome back to CBN4's Primetime News Package. Minister for National Security, the Honorable Rayburn Blackmore, has announced that the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force will soon have an additional 100 police officers in its ranks. Blackmore made the announcement at a handing over ceremony of military vehicles by China. He said deliberate steps will be taken to revitalize the Dominica Police Force.
I can recall at our last passionate initial recruit training, we had spoken about taking the police force to 600 in strength. Currently we stand at 501. I want to report that the Honorable Prime Minister has approved that request, and then for the training of an additional 100 police officers.
Blackmore said that over a 2-year period, it is hopeful that the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force will have 601 police officers.
And the reason for that is to ensure that certain specialized departments within the police force are brought to the levels where they need to be brought at. Starting first with the Special Service Unit, to ensure that the Special Service Unit becomes a reserve department, and to be responsible for internal security and civil defense. In order to achieve that, therefore, a very robust and sustained training program will be embarked upon, placing emphasis on tactical training, among others. And to say further that we're looking also at additional specialized unit, the task force, to ensure that we augment the numbers so we can have the kind of coverage we need to have.
Recruit training is expected to commence May 1st. For countless years, the nature isle of Dominica boasts of its 365 pristine flowing rivers, The experience of Hurricane Maria, however, has changed all of that. CBN4's reporter Fanny James has more details.
As the 2018 season approaches, river management work continues in the form of dredging in the most affected rivers in and around communities across the island. The committed workers of the Dominica Strong team is at it 6 to 6, 7 days a week, working to bring normalcy back into the lives of communities subject to flooding.
Based on what they are doing, I mean, there is a little level of comfort as to, I mean, it would take a lot of rainfall to really do the damage that had been done already. But still, as I will say, I have no trust in the river. I will not trust it again after the experiences that I had for the past few storms, whatever, hurricane, whatever they were. So in that sense, I will not trust it. And as I said, no matter what they do, I will not. I have no trust in the river again.
And what are your plans for the upcoming hurricane season?
My plans are to not be in here, especially even if I'm here. But if there's anything threatening the island anymore, I will make my way out.
Special attention is given to rocks placed on the riverbank in a particular manner, compact to withstand the rushing waters if we are to receive rainfall this season as predicted.
Yes, it is for a particular reason. That is the way the stone is supposed to pack. And we try to get a fine one between, like, just to get it to lock. That is to make sure that the whole area is loose material. So we try our best to see how we could fix this properly. So, but with the flooding, as what you were saying, right, we try our best to open the river wide, but we can't open it wide too much due to the road on both sides. One like Maria is what I hear, right, is that this mightn't do not much. It might do a little, but not much. But Maria was a very bad situation.
Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit agrees that dredging the river is essential to our recovery process.
Extensive dredging works have been undertaken along the Picard, Checkall, Roseau, Fontbower, Colibistri, Collio, Jubla, Salisbury, St. Joseph, and Bacatel-Font-Saint-Jean rivers, as well as the Castle Comfort, Loubier, Tatan, Lodbourg, and Sibuli ravines. Dredging works will continue along the rivers in Roseau, Collio, Bacatel, Colibistri, Louisville, Coptal, Pichelay, and River Estate, and works will commence at the Melville Hall and Belfast rivers, all in preparation for the next hurricane season.
Whilst the fate of the communities surrounded by the rivers remain unknown, the government of Dominica recognizes the effects of the rivers on communities, thus implementing river management techniques. Even so, the question remains, what is their fate for the upcoming season?
The dry season, a concern to all of us. From the water pressure dropping at homes in some communities to rationing in the most badly affected areas, we go back again to Fanny James, who has more on this story.
In the case of the electrical company, the absence of rainfall during the month of March, or Kawem as we call it, will be reflected in April's electricity bills. Mr. Dave Stamp, in an interview on state-owned Dominica broadcasting station DBS Radio, explains.
The spell that we speak of is, we had a dry spell in March. So, with that dry spell, the capacity of the hydro system, the ability for us to generate from the hydro system has been affected because of the availability of the water. And because of the constraints we have in using the lake and using the river system during the dry spell, we have had to cut back on hydro production during this time, which means that more diesel is used to fill the gap. And when this happens, it affects the fuel surcharge, in that the fuel surcharge is affected by the amount of diesel we use to generate the electricity to our customers. So the more diesel we use, is the higher the fuel surcharge, because it is a factor, the function of the quantity of the fuel that we use. So this is what happened in March. Now,
statistics shows that consumers connected to the company's electricity grid should expect a slight increase in this month's electricity bill. Here's Mr. Stamp with that report.
Fuel surcharge was about 41 cents. But between January and February, we had a lot of rain. Also, we were also bringing back customers, more customers at that time. So we had more customers and we had more rain, so we had more hydro production. The fuel surcharge went down to 26 cents. And it continued downward trend in March to 23 cents. Now, just to remind the customers that the fuel surcharge that you see today is on the production of the month before. So March fuel surcharge would have been on February, and February's fuel surcharge would be on January. Now April's fuel surcharge is gonna go up, has gone up because March month was a very dry month. Our generation grew by over 40%. However, the hydro production fell by about 10–15% in that time, simply because of the dry spell that happened in March.
As mid-April approaches, the weather pattern has changed a bit. Evidence of morning and evening showers are frequent and needed for farming and other sectors. Whilst rainfall remains a necessity, just how ready are we for the rainy season? Fernie James, CBN4 News.
And thank you, James, for that report. Stay tuned, we'll be back with more news after the break.
If you're HIV positive or have an STI, having unprotected sex with multiple partners puts them in grave danger. You will expose every partner and their present and future partners to HIV or another STI. Use a condom every time you have sex. You can live a productive life even if diagnosed with HIV. Remember, early detection is key to your survival. Be responsible, protect yourself and others. Help stop the spread of HIV and other STIs.
There are signs everywhere. Pay attention whether you're male or female. Visit your health center to get screened. It's a preliminary test to determine if you are exposed to the HIV virus, an STI, or tuberculosis. Some people who are HIV positive also have tuberculosis. But there's hope. Tuberculosis can be cured. And yes, you can live a full life with HIV. Talk to your doctor. Be responsible. Help stop the spread of TB, HIV. Encourage everyone to get tested.
Les moun qui ni TB estene et ben toussé, moun qui en bonne santé oli ouin ka respire se vermine là. Moun qui pa ni bon tempérament kon sa ki ni maladie HIV, alcool, ka fumer, ti mamay et grand moun bien sensible pour ces maladies ça là. Moun qui ka toussé ni pour prendre précaution les yo en parmi moun en place publique, couvert bouche ou le ka estene et toussé. Visitez docteur et ben place santé. Fini tout traitement yo ba ou sa joine guérison et puis maladie TB. En responsabilité ou aider du bout si men maladie TB et HIV, protéger corps et les autres.
And welcome back to CBN4's Primetime News. Say goodbye to hurricane names Harvey, Irma, Maria, and Nate. The World Meteorological Organization's Hurricane Committee said this week that it's retiring those names from its rotating list of future Atlantic Basin tropical cyclone name list. During the 2017 hurricane season, those storms left a destructive and deadly path when they struck in late August to September. Of the 17 named tropical storms that formed during 2017, 10 became hurricanes and 6 reached major hurricane strength, according to the World Meteorological Organization. Atlantic hurricane and tropical storm name list repeat every 6 years with male and female names alternating alphabetically. The World Meteorological Office said that the 2005 season holds the record for the most names retired due to the destruction those storms caused. Dennis, Katrina, Rita, Stan and Wilma were dropped from the rotating list. The committee also selected the replacement names for Harvey, Irma, Maria and Nate, with Harold, Idalia, Margot and Nigel respectively, that will first appear in the 2023 list of storm names. Meanwhile, the new names that will be used for the upcoming hurricane season have been released. The 21 name list includes Alberto, Beryl, Chris, Debbie and Ernesto. And the Prime Minister of Dominica, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, in his recent address to the nation, spoke of a number of key areas in respect to the new look cabinet of ministers, one of which he appointed the Member of Parliament for the Cottage constituency, which encompasses Capuchin, Clifton and Cottage, Honorable Reginald Austrie, as the Deputy Prime Minister of Dominica. The Prime Minister in his address indicated that Austrie, who served as the then Minister for Housing, Lands and Water Resource Management, will now serve in the capacity of Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Agriculture, Food and Fisheries. Skerrit at the time said he believes that for matters of continuity and seamless transition in the day-to-day functioning of the government, there is benefit at this time in naming a Deputy Prime Minister. CBN4 News team seek the public's views on this appointment by the Prime Minister.
What do you think of the Prime Minister's decision to appoint Mr. Reginald Austrie as the Deputy Prime Minister?
Yes, because at times he's never here, and then somebody has to subsidize, and somebody that we could go to and get some advice until when he returns from wherever he goes.
A good choice, eh? That's the best choice to make.
I think it's not so much of a good move, but if it's that what the Prime Minister wants, is that what the man wants, we can go against his will, you know.
Why do you think it's not such a good move?
Well, he have too much of his own way, man, I find. Yeah, that's the only thing I find, man.
I mean, he's been winning Cottage, Clifton area for a number of years. So what better man than him?
Do you think that this would help in our development?
Of course, you know, Austria is always a go-getter. He's a no-nonsense man. And that's the approach, because the Prime Minister must have somebody to hold on when he's out. And that's the ideal man.
Well, I guess he believes that Austria has the capabilities to do that. I don't think so, but he believes so. I don't think he has the capabilities to run the country either. But obviously, if you don't have the ability, then, you know, how are you going to decide, make good decisions? You know, decisions are based on most likely some kind of political thing to ensure that they remain in power. That's all it is. Yeah.
And these were the views of some members of the general public. The Prime Minister himself said that the minister shall not only act as the Prime Minister in his absence from the country, but shall also be tasked with several administrative functions in the harnessing and coordination of the various ministries.
That individual, incidentally, shall also be assigned the all-important portfolio of agriculture, food and fisheries. Because just as housing will be overseen by me as head of government, I want also to send a strong and clear signal to the agricultural community that that sector will henceforth be overseen and spearheaded by none other than the new Deputy Prime Minister of the country. So yes, housing and agriculture shall be the two key pillars overseen by the two most senior members of the new look cabinet of Dominica.
And also in the news, in keeping with its policy of building back better, the government of Dominica continues to maintain focus on supporting the rapid replacement of roofs with training, climate resilience, design, and materials. The government has so far bulk purchased EC 17.3 million worth of building materials to assist homeowners with their renovations, with several homeowners benefiting thus far.
There are many who lost everything and who cannot reasonably be expected to rebuild to our satisfaction on their own. To assist as best we can, government has initiated a pilot housing building program where, in the first instance, we are constructing 1,000 homes at various sites across the country for allocation to the most vulnerable families on conditions to be finalized. The reality is that some families do not have the wherewithal to rebuild, and our assessment teams, comprising independent and agency-connected appraisers, will assist with the allocation of these houses and in determining the terms and conditions of transfer.
The Prime Minister further noted that 20 pilot houses have already been commissioned, 10 in Point Michel and 10 in the Kalinago territory, two of the areas worst affected by the wrath of Hurricane Maria.
I am pleased to report that 10 of these houses will be made available to deserving families on Friday, 13th April, at a ceremony at Point Michel. The other 10 are under construction and shall be ready for handing over very soon. The suppliers of the technology used in the construction of these climate-resilient units are in the process of establishing a production facility here in Dominica to fast-track not only the 1,000 contracted homes, but also to assist with the provision of high-quality, rapidly produced buildings for private dwelling as well as office and other commercial use. In this rebuilding phase, there will be the introduction of several other new technologies in the provision of housing solutions for our people. Already, there are concepts in place for the creation of apartment accommodations in the eastern communities. The designs have been completed and contracts have been signed for the construction of a total of 400 apartment units in eastern communities. Additionally, we shall unveil very soon a comprehensive housing program for the residents of Roseau and other parts of the country.
According to the Prime Minister, the World Bank-led post-disaster needs assessment estimated damages and losses in the housing sector to around $1 billion. He further mentioned that the government of Dominica have contracted with the government of Cuba to provide the country with 100 skilled workers. These skilled workers, the Prime Minister said, are expected to be on island within the next 2 weeks. And stay right here with us. We'll be back with more right after the break.
L'année signe tout partout. Attention si vous êtes homme et bien femme. Visitez place santé pour examiner corps. Ça c'est un nick pour yo ouais si l'année pièce moun au lion qui ni maladie TB et bien maladie sexuelle. En compagnie moun qui ni maladie HIV pe ni TB aussi. Savent qui l'année guérison pour TB. Ou ça vivre en bonne santé même si ou ni maladie HIV. Parlez by docteur. Prends responsabilité. Aidez du bout de si maladie TB et HIV. Ou agir tout le monde pour examiner corps yo.
If you're HIV positive or have an STI, having unprotected sex with multiple partners puts them in grave danger. You'll expose every partner and their present and future partners to HIV or another STI. Use a condom every time you have sex. You can live a productive life even if diagnosed with HIV. Remember, early detection is key to your survival. Be responsible, protect yourself and others. Help stop the spread of HIV and other STIs.
There are signs everywhere. Pay attention whether you're male or female. Visit your health center to get screened. It's a preliminary test to determine if you are exposed to the HIV virus, an STI, or tuberculosis. Some people who are HIV positive also have tuberculosis. But there's hope. Tuberculosis can be cured. And yes, you can.
Welcome back. And now with news from around the region, the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Resolute crew repatriated 50 Haitian migrants on Tuesday to the Haitian Coast Guard. The repatriation is a result of an interdiction conducted by both the U.S. Coast Guard and Cuban Border Guard, in which a vessel was intercepted with 127 Haitian migrants. The crew of the Coast Guard cutter Reliance located on an overload 70-foot sail freighter on Saturday approximately 20 miles off the northeast coast of Cuba. The Reliance crew launched their over-the-horizon small boat to assist the migrant vessel taking on water. The small boat crew transferred 50 Haitian migrants to the cutter. The other 77 migrants refused life jackets and the vessel entered Cuban territorial waters. The Cuban Border Guard took custody of the remaining 77 migrants for further disposition. And the UN Security Council opened an emergency session following an alleged chemical weapons attack in Syria that killed dozens and triggered calls for a response. The United States, France, Britain and 6 other countries requested the urgent meeting after toxic gas was allegedly used in the rebel-held town of Douma. Stay tuned, sports comes up shortly.
There are signs everywhere. Pay attention whether you're male or female. Visit your health center to get screened. It's a preliminary test to determine if you are exposed to the HIV virus, an STI, or tuberculosis. Some people who are HIV positive also have tuberculosis. But there's hope. Tuberculosis can be cured. And yes, you can live a full life with HIV. Talk to your doctor. Be responsible. Help stop the spread of TB, HIV. Encourage everyone to get tested.
Les moun ki ni TB estene e ben tousse, moun ki en bonne santé oli wen ka respire se vermine la. Moun ki pa ni bon tempérament kon sa ki ni maladie HIV, alcool, ka fumer, ti mamay e grand moun bien sensible pour ces maladies ça la. Moun ki ka tousse ni pou prendre précaution le yo en parmi moun en place publique. Couvre bouche ou le ka estene e tousse. Visitez docteur e ben place santé. Fini tout traitement yo ba ou sa joine guérison et puis maladie TB. En responsabilité ou aider du bout si men maladie TB et HIV. Protéger corps et les autres.
Welcome back. Dominica has its eyes set on another medal at the Commonwealth Games. Men's triple jumper Yodanis Duranona Garcia has qualified for the finals of the men's triple jump at the 2018 Commonwealth Games. Garcia was the top performer in the qualification round with an easy leap of 16.75 meters, well past the automatic qualification mark of 16.60 meters. He needed only one jump to achieve the feat and will now compete in the finals on Friday.
I feel really good, so very happy. from the stadium. I like the people. The people push me. The people like track and field. So I feel really happy. So I feel my body strong. So I tell my coach I don't want to do too much jump. It's just one. Thank you God, everything doing well.
Okay, so that's 16.75. You know, the moment when you took to the track. Describe the feeling that went through your mind.
Yeah, when I stay in the trap, just I think I intend to the ball really hard, so I enjoy the competition. That's it.
The men's triple jumper Yordanis Garcia, female long jumper Maria Toussaint had a bad day at the office as she failed to move on to the next round of the women's long jump at the Commonwealth Games. The overseas-based athlete found they going tough as she only managed to jump 5.67 meters to finish in the 9th place in Zone A, a mark way below her personal best. She jumped 5.64 on her first attempt, 5.57 meters in her second, and 5.67 on her third and final attempt. However, the automatic qualifying mark was 6.60 meters and the top 12 jumpers qualified for the finals. Mariah finished in 18th position. 8 matches will be played this weekend as the round of 16 in the Guinea's forehand domino competition commences. 5 out of the 8 matches will be played at Runners Bar in Canefield on Sunday. Golden Arms from Soufriere will take on Warriors from Marigot. Matrix will play Runners Boys from Canefield. Valence from Monrachet will take on La Plaine. Swansea from Portersville will come up against Baghdad from Grand Fond, while non-players from Casabros will take on Rebels from Foncolé. The other 3 matches will be played at the Indian River Bar in Portsmouth. At the Indian River Bar, Rockers from Paybush will come up against Dolphins from Scotshead. Wake Up Stars from Portsmouth will take on Remix from Eggleston, and the defending champions, the Dangerous Public Enemies, will play One Case from Dodan. And reigning DFA Female Footballer of the Year, Romelsia Phillip, is one of 5 foreign-based players selected by the Dominica Football Association's technical staff to participate in the 2018 Caribbean Football Union Women's Challenge Series set for the 16th to the 23rd of April in St. Kitts. Romelsia Phillip will make the trip to St. Kitts along with Brittany Stout, Kylie and Kira Bertrand, and Sari Finn. These 5 players will be joined by 15 locally based players in a squad of 20, which was announced on Tuesday. The Dominica team will be captained by veteran Rosilia Regist, which includes Christina Sobers and Kiana Francis. The youngest players on the squad are overseas-based players 16-year-old Sari Finn and 17-year-old Naisha Joseph. Dominica will open its campaign on Wednesday, 18th April, when they take on the host country St. Kitts from 7:30 p.m. in the second match of a doubleheader. And that takes us to the end of today's Primetime News and Sports package. On behalf of the entire CBN4 team, I am Alan Christopher saying thank you for watching and join us again next time.